Thank you guys and ladies for setting aside some time. I know how busy you are. Some of you guys and ladies have actually been working games this evening. I was in a gym tonight watching a crew work. So recognize how precious your time is. And so thank you for investing a little of that this evening. What you do matters. What you do is important. And especially during playoff time, as competition is heightened, the work of the official is indeed a big deal. And so hats off to you for what you do. We're going to go over just a few administrative items this evening so that we can all be on the same page and have a successful playoff run. So the first thing I want us to take a look at is when we arrive at the gym, really the first thing that we want to do is communicate with the host school. And there are three items I want us to think about when we communicate with the host school. And one is, where are we parking? Because later we're going to talk about exit strategy and where we park our vehicle and the exit point, the door that we leave the gym, the proximity of that exit point and where we're parking our car, our truck, our van, that's important. And coordinating that upon our arrival at school is a big deal. So when we arrive at the school, let's pay attention to where we're parking our vehicle, where our exit point is going to be from the gym. And let's also have a conversation with whoever we meet first, whether that's the athletic director, the head coach, or the principal, about the pack time. And let's coordinate that pregame meeting and try to get some help from the home team in communicating with the visiting team about the pack time, because typically when the visitors show up, they're going to have some communication with the home team, engaging the athletic director, the head coach, whatever, and just reminding them that 15 minutes prior to tip-off, we're going to meet and have our pregame administrative conference. So again, where are we parking our vehicle? What is our exit point from this gym? And then coordinating that pack time 15 minutes prior to tip-off. The purpose of our pack, we think about what happened in the Buffalo Bills game with DeMar Hamlin earlier this year has caused a lot of attention to emergency preparation in sports. And so as a reminder, the purpose of the pack is for us to coordinate the resources and the people who were in that gym in the event that we need to have a coordinated response to an emergency. So the required pack participants include the game day administrator, the referee, and both LHSA head coaches. Recommended participants, visiting administration, security staff, and medical personnel. At 15 minutes prior to tip-off, we want the referee, both head coaches, and the game day administrator to have a simple conversation that should not last longer than 2 or 3 minutes. And referees, please, respectfully submitted, this is not the time for you to try out your comedy routine. Stick to the script. Less is more. Step one is simple, introductions. We're all going to introduce ourselves and explain our title and our role. My name is Lee Sanders. I'm from the Baton Rouge Association, and I'm going to be the referee tonight. Then we're going to go around, and whoever is present, they're going to introduce themselves and state who they are and kind of why they are participating in the pack. Now, obviously, referee, you're listening for the names of the head coaches and the game day administrator. And so once our introductions are over, we're going to confirm the identity of the LHSA head coaches. I am amazed that sometimes we play games and we never know who the head coach is. We don't know the difference between the assistant coach and head coach. So we want to make sure that we know who the head coaches are. If possible, we're going to use their name. Coach Thomas, Coach Gautreaux, Coach St. Andre. Is your team properly and legally equipped? So step one, asking those head coaches after the introduction, are their teams properly and legally equipped? At that point, we're then going to turn the pack over to the game day administrator. That's whoever the home team has put in charge of the event. And we're going to say, Mr. Thomas, Miss Wilson, will you go over the medical and security protocols that are in place? And then we're going to close our mouth and listen to the game day administrator review the medical and security portions of whatever they're going to say. Because remember, the game day administrator is the person who by state law knows the emergency action plan, by state law and BESI policy is familiar with the people and the resources in that gym to help us have a coordinated response in the event of an emergency. It is not our place to ask questions like, do you have an AED or things of that nature? We're going to defer to the home administration, and we're going to allow them to speak to the medical sections and the security protocols that are in place. Now, as the game day administrators reviewing the medical and security protocols in place, we're listening because we want to know, is there an appropriate healthcare professional at this game? Because that appropriate healthcare professional will be of value to us during the game if we've got to diagnose a concussion, a head injury, or any other sorts of sports injury. So if after that game day administrator reviews the medical portion of the protocols in place, if you're not clear whether there's a licensed athletic trainer or appropriate healthcare professional on site, then you need to ask that. Do we have an appropriate healthcare professional that's going to be here? If so, where is he or she going to be? Security, one cleanup question. If the security does not specifically address this, you want to go over who is the staff that is assigned to this crew to make sure that we've got escorts during pregame, during halftime, and that post-game exit strategy. So to review, we've got 4 items that are important for us to make sure that we cover in the pregame. Identification of the head coaches, confirmation that teams are properly and legally equipped, identification of the game day site administrator. Then we're going to defer to that administrator and allow them to review medical sections of the protocol in place and then the security protocol in place. If we don't hear anything about the appropriate healthcare professional, then we're going to ask that question. Do we have an appropriate healthcare professional here at the game tonight that's going to help us diagnose concussions and other serious sports injuries? Because remember, if we don't have that in place, that goes to the head coach of both teams. And then also, do we have security here? And do we have someone, a staff member designated to support our crew when we exit the floor at halftime and when we exit the floor after the game? And really, that's all we're trying to do in the pack. The purpose of the pack is to make sure that we have a coordinated response in the event that we have an emergency. And although we hope and pray that we don't have an emergency, hoping and praying is not a plan. And our responsibility is to have a conversation where we identify the people and resources in that gym that will help us respond to an emergency. Anything other than that is too much. Less is more. Remember, in a playoff environment, first impressions are important. We're going to be judged the minute that we walk in the door. And those judgments are going to come from how we carry ourselves. They're going to come how we look and how we treat other people. That checklist is on the LHSOA website, and there are 4 items with red stars next to them. So the pregame administrative conference, that's part of our professional responsibility to the game. Clock operator and scoreboard operator, remember, by LHSA policy, they must be adults. If you're worried that someone is a student, then you need to have that conversation in the pregame, because remember, that has to be an adult. It cannot be a student. So that should be something that should be easily identifiable. And remember, if we're having a pregame administrative conference, 15 minutes to tip off, maybe 18 minutes, 20 minutes to tip off, you're going to go over and introduce yourself to the scoreboard operator, the bookkeeper, and again, professional, be on point, less is more, and make sure that we've got our rosters properly submitted, because at the 10-minute mark, we want that done. So scoreboard operator, clock operator, and we put this in writing to all schools this week as a reminder, must be adults, cannot be students at either school. Second item, spectators. You and I know this is a tough world we're living in now. Fans sometimes are crazy. Identifying that game day administrator and/or security, they are your point of contact to help you with spectators. If you got a problem with a spectator and it rises to the point that you want them dismissed from the facility, remember, our professional responsibility is to engage the game day administrator and/or the security and to ask them to take care of the spectator, to remove them from the venue. We should not interact with spectators. We should not be having any verbal discourse with spectators. Our job is to referee the game. And if the spectators get in the way of us doing that or managing the game or the safety of the game, then we've got a game day administrator that we have worked and identified with the minute we walked on the facility, and they are there to help us. We are a team working together with the same goal to play this game in the safest manner possible.
LHSA rule prohibits spectators from standing along the sidelines and baselines. So be vigilant and watchful and do not allow fans to stand in any area that outlines the playing court itself. All spectators should be in the stands and not allowed to stand along the baselines and sidelines.
Exit strategy. Now, I would love to think that all of us, when we finish working a game, we could pass out our addresses because we think people are going to give us Christmas cards, or maybe somebody's going to give us champagne or Coca-Cola, but get out of the gym. And the quicker we get out of the gym, the easier it is on all of us. So I would encourage you, have an exit strategy. That's why we talked about immediately upon arrival. Think about, where am I parking my car and what is the exit point from this gym? What are the doors that they are getting us out of so that we can get in our car, get out of the parking lot, and get down the road and enjoy our hamburger or beverage of choice? The longer we stay in the gym, the more difficult it can be for us. So again, part of our professional responsibility is having an exit strategy to get out of the gym. How can we get out of the gym and minimize any kind of contact with spectators or anybody else who wants to pop off at us after the game? The quicker you can get out of the venue and the safer you can get out of the venue, the better it is for all of us. Again, it's playoff time. It's an exciting time. You get to travel, you get to do what you love, you get to do it with people that you enjoy working with, and first impressions matter. You will be judged the minute you walk in the gym. The way you look, the way you conduct yourself, the way you carry yourself. Professionalism matters, communication skills matter, and just people skills matter. Treating people with dignity and respect. We're there to do a job, to do it at a high level, and to be the very best we can be so that our student athletes can play the game in a safe manner. And our administrative responsibilities involve just the way we enter the venue, the way we get into our locker room, the way we walk on the floor, and the way we get out of the facility. As a reminder, this is officiating as a people skills business that emphasizes treating others with respect and class and dignity and common sense. And so, I wish you best of luck on your playoff run. I hope that you have a safe and enjoyable run. And remember, these administrative responsibilities are very important to all of us. I appreciate your time this evening. The investment of your time and your talent shows how much you care. Well, again, thank you for what you do. What you do matters. What you do is important, and most people can't do what you do. You've got knowledge and a skill set and attitudes that the average person doesn't have, and high school sports is not possible without you. So good luck on your playoff run, and just hope that you are safe and successful in all you do. And thank you for being with us this evening.